Hey guys, welcome back to another great game of cEDH. Also, have you heard the news? Your favorite cEDH YouTube channel has released some cool merch. And if you're interested in picking up some sweet new apparel, come check us out. Also, if you like what you see, consider joining our Patreon, as with your help, we can keep producing the videos you enjoy. And if you want to play with us, hop on our Discord. We have an ever-growing community that loves to talk MTG or whatever else strikes our fancy. And we would love to meet new people. Alright, block there, kill that. Oh, that is trample. Guess I'm just dead on board. Starting us off is Hidden Planet X, with a new deck to the channel. Nixilis Captive Kingpin. I've been really wanting to try out this commander since he was originally spoiled. But for all those that don't know, this is a Rakdos Storm list. Its goal is for a fast and to basically use him as a heuristic study, to play cards off the top of our library as a great source of card advantage. He also combos as a one-card combo with All Will Be One, and as a backup, Hob grows really large really quickly, and you can use him to pressure and take out your opponents. Next up is edhrec, and he's brought his nearly foiled out Tymna Kraum list. This is Blue Farm. Its goal focuses on quickly assembling win cons with one-card enablers such as Ad Nauseam or Intuition. The deck puts a heavy emphasis on Ad Nauseam, Underworld Reach, and Dockside Extortion flickers. It utilizes a lot of fast mana to power out either explosive wins or strong early game card advantage engines such as Kraum or heuristic study. It usually seeks to be the fastest deck at the table, but has the potential to grind when needed. In the third spot we have Ryan with Atraxa Grand Unifier. This is a combo control list, playing the best cards available, while countering and removing anything in her way till the Grand Phyrexian Angel can make an appearance. Your commander is insane value, helping you refill on cards and keeping you going in the late game. The list utilizes Food Chain as a way to speed up the process, while ultimately relying on Thrasios as the win con. And bringing up the rear, we have Connor piloting Kinnan, Bonder Prodigy. This is a proactive mid-range deck that aims to utilize Kinnan to generate lots of mana, and then funnel that into large mana payoffs. This list seeks to establish infinite mana with combos like Isochron Scepter Dramatic Reversal or Basalt Monolith, and use Kinnan or Thrasios to draw most of the deck and win with Thrasios. But without further ado, let's get onto the gameplay. Hidden starts off the game with a command tower and taps it for a Soul Ring, ending his turn with a Sensei's Divining Top and topping. edhrec also plays a command tower and Imperial Seals, finding a card but passing to Ryan. Ryan has a City of Brass and casts a Mana Crypt, tapping the crypt for an Arcane Signet and ending his turn with a Drannith Magistrate. Connor plays a Forest and also casts a Soul Ring, tapping the ring for a Grim Monolith. Hidden really doesn't like seeing the Drannith as an Ancient Tomb comes out. Hidden then casts a Rite of Flame using one of the red to help cast a Jeska's Will. This ultimately nets him 6 red, which he uses 5 of it on an All Will Be One. Although Connor is quick to respond as he casts a Force of Negation, exiling a Drift of Phantasms to do so. Hidden then takes 2 to top and follows it up with a Winds of Change. Although I didn't realize that it was a shuffle effect and not just a discard, so I probably would have just cast Winds instead of All Will Be One, as I only have 1 card left in hand. But everyone shuffles and draws, with the added benefit to mess up edhrec's tutor. Hidden then ends his turn using the last of his mana to top. edhrec plays a Mana Confluence as land and casts a Lotus Petal. Ryan untaps and is safe from his crypt. He plays a Morphic Pool and heads to combat, sending the Drannith at edhrec for 1. Connor on his turn casts a Birds of Paradise, to which I was surprised to see Ryan fire off a Mental Misstep to counter the spell. Hidden draws his card return and tops, passing after rearranging the top 3, with edhrec at his end step Vamp tutoring, and Ryan once again says nope to that as he dispels it. edhrec does respond with a Flusterstorm, but he totally forgot how much mana Ryan actually had, as he just pays for the Fluster. edhrec actually untaps and just passes. Ryan takes 3 from his crypt and plays an Exotic Orchard. He then heads to combat and sends his Draneth at hidden for 1. With Connor at his end step paying 2 life for a Noxus revival, targeting the birds to put back on top. I think this has been the most contested Birds of Paradise I've ever seen.
Okay, I will draw the birds. I will attempt to play the birds. Does the birds resolve?
It will resolve.
Birds resolves. I will then pass my turn.
Hidden draws, and once again tops, passing after that. Eric plays a Marsh Flats and passes as well. Ryan is safe from his crypt, and the table is almost out of cards, and Ryan thinks it's now a good time to go for it, as he casts a Wishclaw Talisman. He activates it to tutor, giving the Wishclaw to Connor. Ryan then follows this up by tapping double blue for Thassa's Oracle. Connor passes priority, with Hidden topping in response. I needed to make sure I actually had the order correct, as I then tap the top to draw, and with the Thassa still on the stack, I cast a Pyroblast. Ryan does debate whether or not he wants to respond, but he doesn't have any free counterspells in hand, so he decides to just let the Thassas go, ending his turn, sending the Draneth back at hidden for 1. Connor starts by activating the Wishclaw to grab a card. He gives the Claw to hidden, and follows up the search with a Pongify to destroy the Draneth. Although without a second blue source, he probably should have waited until Eric's end step to destroy the Magistrate. But Ryan does have a response, as he has an offer you can't refuse. The Pongify is countered, and Connor then uses one of his newly acquired treasures to help cast a Regrowth to get the Pongify back. He then fires it back off to finally remove the Draneth.
5v1?
I will, hey, you complain about getting up. Thassa's Oracle is a card that you cannot complain about people trying to stop.
That is very true. Do you have a response this time?
I'm just gonna look. I can't deny him twice. That'd be just cruel at this point. So I'm just gonna
Hidden untaps and draws his top. He uses the last Wishclaw activation to grab a card and give the talisman to Eric. A Dockside then comes out, and Hidden gains 6 treasures, spending 2 of them to help cast his commander, Nixilis, spending another treasure to recast his top, and another 2 to cast a Grape Shot, which with his storm count gives him 4 instances of 1 damage. Hidden sees that Connor still hasn't found another blue source, as he decides to point one of the copies at the bird, while each opponent gets pinged for 1. This triggers Ob 3 times, and Hidden exiles the top 3 of his library. Hidden finds the Sulphurous Springs from his exile pile, and passes after that.
How big is Ob right now? A 7/6?
Yet 7/6.
Doesn't have flying or trample?
It has both of those.
I never read it.
I thought you were being facetious.
Oh no!
Doesn't fly or
Trample. It has both of It has Flample.
What is this?
Eric on his turn shocks in a hollowed fountain and realizes he should have cracked his fetch in response to the Ob, as he fetches, triggering Ob to gain a counter and exile a Vamp Tutor. Eric finds an Underground Sea and taps out to cast his commander Kraum, although he does take another one from his Mana Confluence as Ob triggers again. Ryan takes 3 from his crypt. He really debates on what his next play is, as he settles on a risky line. He casts a Demonic Consultation, naming Jeweled Lotus. It's luckily not in the top 6, as he exiles away till he finds it. He does unfortunately exile his food chain and a meal in the process. Ryan then casts the Jeweled Lotus and triggers Kraum, but Hidden actually has a response as he flashes in his Orcish Bowmaster, who on ETB amasses and pings Ryan, triggering Ob to grow and exile another card. Eric then gets to draw off his Kraum, which triggers the Bowmaster again to ping Ryan once again, and you guessed it, to trigger Ob again. Ryan then taps out to cast his commander. The city does ping him for 1 to trigger Ob, but Atraxa then comes out. The Angel resolves and Ryan reveals the top 10. He nabs a Grand Abolisher, an Ancient Tomb, and an Abrupt Decay. He then plays the Ancient Tomb, but is out of colored mana as he passes the turn. Connor plays a tap Teleria West, and for 3 casts a Basalt Monolith. Hidden untaps and realizes he can just cast his exiled Vamp Tutor to put a totally secret Wheel of Fortune on top of his library. Hidden then plays an exotic orchard as land, and then casts the wheel. This is the second card to trigger Kraum, and trigger the Bowmaster as well, to ping Ryan and trigger Ob. The wheel then ends up resolving, and everyone discards and draws 7. Although I do make a mistake, as I thought the Bowmaster was for everyone, and I would get a 28-28. Well, it should have only been a 21-21. As I use most of the triggers to take Ryan out of the game, while using the 3 remaining pings heading at edhrec. I then exile a bunch off the top and cast a Deadly Rollick to remove the Kraum. And with combat, I can actually commander damage out Connor, while the amassed army can take edhrec out, giving me the game. And before I got onto the game review, I do want to thank a special Patreon member, Josh Schutt, for his support of the channel. Game review. Well, I was really impressed with both Ob and the Bowmasters. Although I was lucky that Connor was just as desperate as I was to remove that Dranith. And to be fair, he was holding the win in hand, and was just going to win if I hadn't. And yes, to be fair, the extra triggers did help me with taking out edhrec. But even without them, I'm pretty sure I still would have won that game, as I would have removed the Atraxa instead of Kraum and taken out Ryan that way, with the Ob still being big enough to take out Connor. But I was still amazed at the combo and how simple it was to turn a Bowmasters into a win con with just the simple Wheel of Fortune. And this wasn't the only game I played with Ob, and the deck felt good both times, so it'll definitely be making another appearance on the channel. Thanks to everyone that participated, and as a reminder, I'm a Monarch Community Ambassador. If you haven't heard, Monarch is partnering up with Lotus Con, and they're prepping for an epic cEDH event later this year. So if you're interested in finding out more, I'll have the link down below. And remember, never give up, even if you're dead on board. I'll see you guys later.